This program is brought to you by Hungry Jack's and Bunnings Trade.
Here we go. The tough start for the New Zealand Breakers continues here as they come up against a white-hot Melbourne United, fresh off a demolition job of the Sydney Kings. And I'll tell you what, the thing that impressed me the most was that Melbourne did it on the defensive end. We know how powerful they can be offensively, but when they get that defence firing and delve it over up the front, you know they're going to be very tough to stop. Chris Goulding fits seamlessly back into this unit, and I reckon he's here to stay for a while. So we're going to take Melbourne United in the head-to-head market. If you want a little bit of extra juice, because that is a short price, take them at the line here. I reckon they're in for another big win here in double figures potentially. And the total points under, that's the one I'm going to play here because I don't think New Zealand can score enough against United to hit that over. So we're going to take the total points under. Enjoy and gamble responsibly.
Meeting number 35 between these two teams. Melbourne have won 23 of the 35, but Sydney have won 8 of their last 11 games against Melbourne. But how's that for a dream start? A bucket in 4 seconds. Dellavedova for 3. Got it. That's big for Melbourne United. Here's Barlow. Look at Melbourne go. Luala Chul getting busy. It is raining threes. 3 minutes to play, and Sydney are still yet to score. Agata is having a fantastic evening. 16 points. Nice pass. Dellavedova for Illy. Porty following up. Ariel hook Porty. This proud basketball club have been belted at John Cain Arena. A 42-point win at home. United are on the board for NBL22.
Melbourne United are looking to make it back-to-back wins at home. Their cause helped by the return of Jack White. And aren't they excited about it? United tell me he's stronger, fitter and faster than before. A scary thought for New Zealand, who are hoping to avoid an 0-5 start to the season. And that would be historic. Hello and welcome to John Cain Arena. I'm Nerily Meadows. The Breakers coming off that heartbreaking double overtime loss to the Hawks. Can they break their duck today? Your commentators for this one, John Casey, Andrew Gaze and Liam Santamaria.
Thanks very much, Nerily. Good afternoon, everyone. Great to be with Andrew and Liam for this one. They've led their last 2 games at every quarter. The New Zealand Breakers just haven't got across the line. I know fatigue could be a factor here today, but they're right in this. They have a great record against Melbourne.
Oh, my word. I wouldn't be backing them to get the win today because this is a tough assignment. Melbourne United, they looked impressive against the Sydney Kings, particularly on the defensive end. And Yanni Wetzel is in some spectacular form. 25 and 17 rebounds. Extraordinary. Will McDowell-White's doing some good things, but I think your first point, 4 of their guys logged more than 40 minutes in that double OT loss to Illawarra. So it's going to be tough lifting, but this guy Agata, he started the season. You just look at his raw numbers, Case, not great, but in his last outing against the Sydney Kings, he started to knock down the 3-ball, picked up a few cheapies to start with, Liam, and it was all downhill from there.
Well, he found his groove, didn't he? And his teammates made sure they found him for plenty of looks, and it was the breakout performance he and United were looking for. 21 points, 50% from the field, looking to build on that today.
He needs to back it up, doesn't he? Because just 26% from deep, he needs a second performance. The DoorDash starting 5 for Melbourne United. You can get 50% off Hungry Jack's on orders over $30. Check the T's and C's at the app. But that is a nice-looking starting 5, and even better to see Jay White, number 14, on the list as well.
It is, and he's back. I guess even though he's only played 11 games for Melbourne United, he's really become part of the culture to the point where they've created T-shirts for the man to say Jack's back. Now, not sure that we're quite into that territory, Liam, but it's fantastic and it shows the value and the respect he has from his teammates, which is fantastic to see the young fella back.
And here's the DoorDash starting lineup for the Breakers. That man, Will McDowell-White's been in terrific form. And as you say, Yanni Wetzel as well with the massive game the other night. And Hugo Besson, 3 straight 20-plus point games. Jeremiah Martin and also Finn Delaney in that starting group today.
Yep, they've had 5 games. This is their 5th different starting 5 for the New Zealand Breakers. And, well, they did a lot of things right here against the Illawarra Hawks, but couldn't find a way across the line.
No, they did. They were really good. Very brave when you consider the circumstances they're going through away from home for so long. A lot's been said and documented about that. But this fella here, Hugo Besson, stepping up big time. And what a shame it was that he wasn't able to... There's a little slip that couldn't even get a shot away for the potential win. Tyler Harvey, spectacular. We're going to see him a little later on the day as well. So tough one for the Breakers and difficult challenge, but the way the results have gone this weekend, anything can happen.
Well, let's get some input from Yanni Wetzel. He spoke earlier with Nerily Meadows.
Well, Yanni, thanks so much for your time. Such an unbelievable game, but a tough result just a couple of nights ago. How has the team regrouped?
Yeah, it was a frustrating one, and I think that we definitely deserved it. We put on a hell of a fight out there, and it was obviously a bit disheartening. So we're looking to bounce back. We watched some film on Melbourne United last night, and we've got to bring our A game for sure.
What about you personally? A huge game the other night, but coming off COVID as well. Is it tough to recover in such a short turnaround?
Yeah, I noticed my win wasn't quite there for the first couple of weeks, but it's slowly starting to come back. And honestly, I was surprised that everything else was pretty maintained throughout the 2 weeks. So it wasn't too bad. Yeah, I mean, I'm just finding myself, trying to improve every day. Honestly, just trying to get the monkey off our back and get this first win, and that's the most important thing for us.
I appreciate your time. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Great input there from Yanni Wetzel, averaging 21 points and a team-high 8 rebounds. And, well, how about this? Young Lachlan is our Game Time by Kmart ball kid today. Just head to the NBL website to find out more about having the Game Time by Kmart experience at your school. Thoroughly recommended. A lot of fun.
Big game for the Breakers up against a really tough Melbourne United team and staring down the barrel of their first 0-5 start in the franchise history.
Noted slow starters to a season. They went 1-6 last year, 2-8 the year before. But this is big for them, and they've controlled the tip. First use of the ball for the New Zealand Breakers. Played today without Tom Abercrombie and without their new recruit as well. Chasson Randall will not suit up after arriving late. So they're patient here initially, and they've got 3 seconds now. They need to get busy. Besson. He fires, caught it deep, but it's going to come to McDowell White, and they can reset. Just exploring, now down low, Wetzel. A mismatch they wanted, that looked like a foul, and is called that way.
Really good recognition to see the mismatch down low, and it's a tough mismatch because there's a size advantage to Wetzel, but when it comes to guarding people on that low block, I don't know if there's a better guard in the world. That's how far I'll go. Than Matthew Dellavedova of really being able to armbar up and hold his ground with those big guys down on the block.
Once more going to work, this time unsuccessfully. So they've got it back again. Martin takes them on, rejected by Barlow.
The Crow Barlow met Jeremiah Martin, and Melbourne's defensive pressure on display here early. Here you see Martin was able to win the ball back, but met a brick wall at the Kiwi, and geez, they're having a really tough time getting a good look.
Great defense again. And now a chance for them to get out and running, and Agata's going to draw a contact to the foul.
This is how Melbourne United set the tone on Thursday night against the Kings, making it really tough for their opponents to execute offensively, get something good just to get them going. Couple of really strong defensive possessions there for the home team.
And the other thing they did, and you saw it in that play there, that particularly early on, is that they want to run. And when you're running in waves like they are, it puts a whole lot of pressure on your defensive transition, and they're doing it really well. It's a feature of what they do, and when you have the depth, and that's our new guy, isn't it?
That's Chasson Randall.
Chasson Randall, who, actually, I'm not sure if he's of French origin. Chasen, I think.
Have some fun with it.
That's Chasen, I think.
Okay.
But
Can't play.
Has got a long history. Clearly, I think would have a very good IQ. Stanford, I think he was a player at. Liam's looking at me as if I'm starting to second guess myself.
You've got to be getting good marks.
You've got to be at Stanford.
Breakers off the mark again. Now none of 4 from the field, including none of 2 from deep. And the penetration was good. The finish just lacked a little from Joe Luala-Chul. Here's Delaney about to relieve of it. Getting in behind him. Just knocking it down to Garden.
That's one guy that they really need to get going today, the Breakers. Finn Delaney. Been a little bit quiet over their last couple of games.
Well, he has, but it's not like he's had a whole lot of shots in that game against Illawarra. He's only 4 of 8. But you're right. I think he has got the capacity, and this is the venue for him to do it. There's Will McDowell White straight down the pipe, and easy too. But this is a game where Finn Delaney would feel comfortable. He's averaging 23 points a game in this venue, has his career high of 33. So this could be the moment where he does step up a little bit more than what he has.
There's Luala Chul from close range, user-friendly roll to open his account. Remembering he had a big game against New Zealand during the NBL Blitz with 37 and 11.
Yeah, he absolutely tore him apart in that game. No Yanni Wetzel in that preseason hit out. That's a marquee matchup in the middle this afternoon.
Feet outside, travelling violation going to be called here.
And I like in this early stage what the Breakers are doing. Each possession, they're getting it through some hands. You heard the coach on the sideline just there, second side. He wants that ball moving, and he wants to be able to control the tempo because of the nature in which Melbourne United are trying to play that up-tempo style. Just take the wind out of the ball and control the tempo early.
Well, nice start. That's good work again from Agata. They've opened up a 5-point edge.
He punished the defence there. Agata, Jeremiah Martin slipping under that screen and Martin making him pay. Agata, sorry.
Wetzel shares it across. McDowell White trying to shake Agata. There's 2 sevens go at it. Martin. Here's Delaney firing. Unsuccessfully, and Golden snatches the rebound.
Well, it's one thing to control the tempo, but motion for the sake of motion is not going to get it done. They just move it around and not any real great attack on the ball, and they settle for another long 3. So down the other end, this is the aggressive nature. In you go underneath, and he's not going to second guess himself. We've seen in the first 3 games, he is a shoot first, possibly second.
Wetzel stole it away from them, and from close range adds the 2.
Heads up play from Wetzel. We saw that a couple of times the other night in Wollongong. He's always alert defensively, pounces on any of the sloppy stuff.
Dellavedova gets it from Agata to the foul line. Step back from Dellavedova, all the bottom of the net. Nice start. 3 or 4 from the field at 75% Melbourne. Very efficient. Now White feeds it back. Delaney wheels it in. That's off the mark. And now none of 4 from deep and 2 of 8 overall, the Breakers. And at the other end, Melbourne are getting it done. And this man, Caleb Agata, after a breakout game of 21 against Sydney on Thursday, is filling it up.
It is another great start. And again, it's the early transition. Wide open, and with the way he's throughout his career been able to shoot the ball, put points on the board, that is going to be too easy, and he is not going to hesitate. Let's listen to Dan and see what he's got to say.
Anybody, go there. Don't switch the early ones, their ones. Stay with, so we can stay switching with Dellavedova. We don't give a drop, and then if not, let's try to show. Watch the press break now with the trap. Okay, be available for the kill pass. Okay, down is good. Let's give. I want the next ones to go to Hugo. So the 2 is Hugo. Okay, 2 Hugo. Okay, and following that, 4 Rob. So you bring your man. Now, right now, 2 Hugo. Okay, going right. Next one, 4 Rob. Coming up over here, bring him with good space. Fellas, work on the thumb down, start really low. I want you to come with space. Okay, work with space.
Well, I reckon the advice by one of the players yelling out, let's work on the D-trans, I think that's really important advice, because the way in which Melbourne United are pushing the ball down the floor, willing to accept early opportunities either to catch and shoot, or even we saw with Luala Chul, although he missed the basket, just a no-pass offense, willing to put it to the rim and really attack early.
McDowell White gets it to Jeremiah Martin, who for the moment wasn't on the same page. Screen from Wetzel. Penetration, but shut down. And here come Melbourne again. Agata. JLA jumps upstairs, and he gets it done as well. The margins into double figures.
Dan Shamir would be disappointed. He has a timeout. He draws up a play, sets something up because he sees what's going on, and they don't get to it. Jeremiah Martin just goes out on his own agenda. And Besson can't get that one to fall.
Another terrific start from Melbourne United. Looking inside, Dellavedova couldn't thread the needle. They've scored the last 7 points here, Melbourne. And the Breakers, well, they need a break. They're 2 of 10 from the field, none of 4 from deep. What can they create here? Wetzel, Martin. Shot clock rolls to 5. And they swing it around. Besson is open. Can't connect. Caught it short for the rebound. Falls to Delaney from close range. Wetzel adds another 2.
A much-needed bucket for the Breakers. A few dry possessions in a row out of the huddle. And eventually able to find Wetzel underneath.
Luala with it inside the last 5 minutes of an opening quarter that's been dominated by Melbourne so far. Is Dellavedova with a mismatch on Wetzel. Did a good job to stay in front of him, forced him into a tough shot, and he came up empty. Terrific stuff from Wetzel. He's in great form at the moment, both ends of the floor. Besson getting Luala out of his comfort zone for the moment. Wants to get past him from the cup, but can't finish. Thought he was fouled. Referees didn't see it that way. This is Golding.
Deary me.
Quick release. Wanted to get involved. First shot of the game.
I'm going to trouble the 24-second shot clock too much at this rate. Melbourne United.
Nice finish again from Wetzel. He scored the last 6 of New Zealand's 8.
Well, they have been having some trouble with their perimeter shooting, the Breakers, but starting to get much more on the attack. Wetzel a couple of buckets. They're ticking it over all of a sudden.
Go!
Here's Delaney. So they try and work their way back into the frame. Martin baseline, got away from his defender, helps himself to 2 more. The Breakers have scored 6 without reply, and now Melbourne need timeout.
And I like the action. We saw the backdoor cut there by Martin. And I like it because of what Melbourne United are doing. They're up and in the lanes. They're trying to contest, trying to push them out of their sets. You've got to have a penalty for it. And usually when teams are like that and trying to be real physical, back cuts become a whole lot more available just because of the way in which you're being guarded.
Can't play more than 4 or 5 minutes right now. All right, you got to be better than that. We drop our level, hurts us. This group coming back in, you guys have got to go. All right, you guys have got to go. Keep the pressure on the ball. We got no rim protection right now. You go ahead and whatever, cover up any deficiencies for other people right now. Any back cuts, wall up, challenge, we all support right now. We missed that part down here. This group, give me the first time that we get a walk up. Caleb, I want you in the cross pick in our horn seat right now. All right, come off. Looking at your post feed, rules over the top. That's on walk up. Right now, otherwise stay in spin. Stay in spin. All right, cool, man. Right now.
Well, Dean Vickerman just wanting his team to regain the intensity they played with in the opening few minutes at the defensive end. He's bringing in some fresh bodies. Shea Ely, Brad Newley, Ariel Hook-Porty. As that starting group got a little tired and dropped the tempo. And when he talks about a walk-up, he means this kind of possession, where you walk the ball up the floor. He wants to execute something out of the horns sort of set and go to the cross pick. There's Caleb Agata, the screen down low for Hook-Porty.
First subs in the game from either team. Liam, Hook-Porty to the left-hand side, short-armed it, so a chance now for the Breakers once more. They've scored the last 6 after Melbourne had scored the previous 7. And Wetzel's been a key factor in it. Gets into the paint with a hook shot, this time deep. Grabs the rebound and wants to play up tempo as well. Gets up the floor quickly and from close range adds another 2. He's got 10 in the game to lead all scorers.
Well, that's poor by New Zealand. And I know they're up against a team that likes to run. Agata's on fire with those 10 points, but to go from one keyway, so he receives the ball in the other keyway all the way down virtually to an uncontested or semi-contested layup, that's not going to get it done with your D-trans.
Martin gets it from McDowell-White, working on Shea Ely. Nice footwork, ambitious pass. Wetzel was good enough to clean it up though. And you heard the call of a travel violation from Dean Vickerman. Referees didn't see it that way.
A good little fight back by New Zealand. They've stayed poised. And now starting to see some cracks as they attack the rim. Had their troubles from the three-point line where there are 5, and now you can see in the last 3 or 4 minutes a whole lot more attack on the rim.
Wetzel's been giving them all sorts of problems, now getting the free throw line as well. 7 points out of the Breakers' 11. Guarded with 10 of the 16.
And I think he has the chance to really continue. Jack White, excuse me, let's pause.
He's back.
If they print up T-shirts for him, then we've got to pause at the very least to acknowledge that the great man's back. And tremendous leadership he provides, and we wish him well as he makes his way back. Quality player.
261 days since he last appeared. 2.5 minutes remaining in this first term. It's Huck Porty. No joy with the left hand, so goes to the right and opens his scoring account.
Getting back to Wetzel, I think that the next evolution of his game is also what he does on the three-point line. At college, I remember seeing him get his game. Great hustle by Brad Newley. At college at San Diego, I remember watching a game playing, I can't remember who it was against, but knocking down a couple of threes.
Yeah, the stroke is...
And the stroke's there.
Yeah.
And it was odd that I looked at his stats, his career stats. He's hardly taken any across the course of his career. So that's one that you see how he can get to the rim and finish around the rim. If he adds a perimeter game, then look out.
When you say hardly, he's got the sort of Dave Simmons type 1-for-1.
I think he's
career.
I'm pretty sure it's 1-for-1. But I just, again, Liam, when you look at me, sometimes I'm just not sure. You don't fill me with a lot of confidence with my memory.
Hook Porty hands over to Shea Ely. Shot clock at 4. Needs to get busy, trying to spin back, and that's a nice finish from Shea Ely to open his scoring account.
You want to talk about someone evolving their game. Geez, hasn't Shea Ely done that at the offensive end the last couple of years? We've spoken a lot about it from three-point territory, but they're showing a little bit in the mid-range with the turnaround.
Here's Jang working into the paint, drawing a foul. 3rd team foul on the Tigers.
When we talk about Jack White coming back, great to see him out there. Here is Shea Ely just creating off the ball screen, fading away, scoring over the defense. Dean Vickerman spoke after the game the other night about Jack White's return, saying, we feel like the evolution for Jack White is to play some more at the small forward spot. Besson banks that in off the board. And he's come out here, his first minutes back in the lineup. You got Hook Porty at the 5, Peatling at the 4.
That's a good challenge there from Sam Timmins, but where was the transition D?
No, it wasn't there. It's been an issue this entire first quarter. Just jogging their way back and leaving guys either open on the arc, giving them an open lane with the ball, or the big fella running that middle lane.
And this is not exclusive to the New Zealand Breakers. You'll be seeing what United have been doing this year and the way in which they are just coming in waves, flying it down the floor. So there needs to be an extra level of intensity and determination just to get back, build a wall behind the ball, give yourself a chance to protect the rim on those early opportunities.
7-point lead for Melbourne. It's been as big as 10. They've led exclusively. As Jeng penetrates, not enough on it, shut down pretty easily, and now Jack White muscles his way back up the floor and uses Shea Ely. In traffic, needs help, provided there by Hook Porty. Timmins puts a stop to it, so a chance again here for the Breakers. 35% from the field at the moment. They need a high percentage play as we live inside the last 60 seconds of the opening quarter. Delaney waves off Usman Jeng. Wants to go solo. Peatling stayed with him, did a good job of it. Shut him down and came up with a loose ball. And again, United running with a pass just off the mark there from Hook Porty.
Good awareness from Hugo Besson. He was the man ahead of the ball there in defensive transition, and he saw Hook Porty unaware of his presence, got in his way, forced the turnover.
A seesawing affair.
See, the official tried to give him a warning, said get it over. He could see what was happening, and Jeremiah Martin just unaware, and that's a fundamental mistake for your point guard, that just need to be aware of the shot clock and making sure that you don't have a really careless turnover, but somewhat of a forced turnover. You saw the pressure in the backcourt as they pick him up.
To the shot clock. 13 seconds inside the game clock here as we head toward quarter time. Melbourne with a 7-point lead as Ely exploring. Penetration came unsuccessfully. Jack White kept alive, but only as far as Timmins, who's doing a good job of it on debut here. They get the ball up the floor quickly, but Jeremiah Martin turns it down. Now works outside the three-point line, and under pressure from Jack White, couldn't complete it. First quarter honours with Melbourne United. They led by as many as 10. They settle for a 7-point edge. Stay with us here on Sunday Hoops. The Hungry Jacks NBL will continue in just a moment. Entertaining start to our big Sunday triple header. Jack White returns for Melbourne United, and they take the first quarter honours here, led by as many as 10. Good fight back from the Breakers though, but it's a 7-point edge here at quarter time. Melbourne United look to win their back-to-back games. And talking of some fun, how about the Kmart fan cam? And tonight's winner, or today's winner of the $50 Kmart gift card is Sienna Tomata. She wants to play for the Warriors. Getting a little older and collects basketball cards, gets involved, and you two should get involved with that as well. Great support from Kmart and the fan cam.
Dean Vickerman would be ecstatic with the defence that Melbourne United have dished up in this first quarter. 6 of 18 and 0 of 6 from the three-point line is the New Zealand Breakers. They are really, really good numbers.
Shot first comes there from Usman Jeng.
You throw the 6 turnovers for New Zealand into that mix as well, and 10 fast break points for Melbourne United in that first quarter, running and taking advantage of New Zealand, a little slow in defensive transition.
Golding gets it back from Barlow. Shot clock to 6. Now he's in a trap, has to go behind the back, a little untidy. And they can't convert under pressure. And Delaney scoops up the loose ball. Dow White, top of the key, guarded by Golding. Now Delaney turns down the shot, uses Jeremiah Martin. Breakers too with single digits on the shot clock. 4 as Martin lost control of it. Scoop it back in, gets Timmins involved. First points in the NBL for Sam Timmins.
He just took a moment to brace himself down there, didn't he? Timmins caught it underneath the bucket and power dribble, went up and scored it. And he had a nice game in pre-season against Melbourne United when Yanni Wetzel wasn't playing. Getting some first half minutes here today.
It's Martin once more. Timmins. McDowell White wheels to the top of the key and he knocks down the shot. So an enterprising start to this second term. Back-to-back buckets for the Breakers. They cut the margin to just 3. Barlow still out of sorts at their offensive end at the moment. Barlow forced into a tough shot, but he's good enough to make it work.
Very, very tough shot. They're the sort of shots Dan Schmier say, well, certain things you've got to live with. We live with that. Finn Delaney slides his feet, a little fade away by Barlow in that mid-range area. You live with that.
McDowell White couldn't get the float, almost got his own rebound. Ball spills to Martin, kicks outside. And they get the open man again. Jeremiah Martin right in front of the Breakers bench, can't connect. None of 8 from long range now, the Breakers.
And some good looks. This is just as much about, I think, with the mind, because the last couple of threes haven't been terrible. And just feeling that scoreboard pressure. And that ball pressure that you see around the court just hurries you up. You're open, but you don't feel as open as you actually are. And that can sometimes play with your mind, and it's just not in that same groove.
Jeremiah Martin sits down, 1 of 4 from the field, 2 points, 3 boards, couple of assists.
Coming off 6 of 19 too, so against Illawarra. So he keen to get his percentages and scoring ticking over a little bit more efficiently than they currently are. Good play.
Nice finish as well. Luala Chul now up to 6 points in the game.
We've seen that play a lot by United. And that's just a breakdown. I'm sure Dan Schmier, they would have went through that underneath out of bounds play. And to get that wide open, just a breakdown in some of the rules that I'm sure they would have had in place.
Usman Jeng, good extension, can't finish it though. And none of 3 from the field. Just rolling Wetzel and Rob Lowe here in tandem, and they draw a foul, offensive foul called on Jack White.
Dean Vigerman's trying to decide whether or not to challenge. You see Yanni Wetzel. Oh, here's that out-of-bounds play you were talking about, Drew. Well executed.
Will McDowell White came over, but really the action was what was happening, and I think that challenge would have been successful looking at that replay, but sometimes the angles can be a little bit misleading. But that did not look like a good, sound, fundamental defensive position.
6.5 out from half-time. Usman Jeng. And a foul going to be called here.
Black 14.
On Jack White. That's 3 fouls now.
Let's go forward.
I think he'll have to come out of the game after picking up those 3 very quick fouls. One of them he did a little stiff with, that last offensive foul.
Besson guarded by Golding. Went behind the back, was looking for Wetzel. And he's going to have to just save the situation here with a backcourt violation. Wetzel.
And here's the problem when you've got a guy that, well, he's a perfect on his career, Yanni Wetzel. Perfect 1 of 1 from the 3-point line. But the amount of help on those on-balls you can give when there's really no fear of the pick and pop. You can really get into those drop situations, and even if you're a step late, you feel like you can always catch up. And that's where I talk about a player's evolution. And go to bring in another big fella in Lowe, who traditionally has been a knockdown 3-point shooter, but it's a little tardy of recent times.
Yep. Hook 40. They clean it up, the Breakers. It's a big lineup they got on the floor, don't they? The 2 bigs in Wetzel and Rob Lowe, and Finn Delaney, who usually plays the 4. He's at small forward right now.
Dow White shares at top of the key. The song. He too wants Get it out long. Delaney, finally, they get a result from deep after missing their first 8. Delaney comes up with his first points.
And a turnover. Sloppy. I think it was Hook Porty.
It doesn't matter. Once he steps on the floor, it's a violation.
Came over the line. Didn't go over the line, I should say. That's the call, I believe, just on the inbounds pass. That's sloppy.
Besson gets it from Wetzel. Breakers looking to go back-to-back. Buckets can't convert. And they guard it. It's the pass across. Dellavedova inside Hook Porty. Well, just strong against Wetzel. Muscled him out of the way. Wetzel's recovery was strong, but he commits the foul.
And that is just great rim running. Matthew Dellavedova summed up that situation perfectly. Hook Porty just runs to the rim in a full sprint, and that's his asset. Really good up and down the floor. Overplay, just needed to find a better angle, so Dellavedova pings that ball to the opposite side. Beautiful entry pass. Really good execution by Melbourne United and well read by Matthew Dellavedova. And they're the things that, okay, he's not going to do the spectacular dunks and the highlight reel stuff with Matthew Dellavedova, but basketball IQ he has in spades.
So the margin extends to 6. Middle stages of the second here. And they deny McDowell White the ball. Besson, looks like an offensive foul. Just a little clumsy there. Picks up his second personal. Good by Melbourne, though. Made a secondary ball carrier assume control and then trapped him or put him in a difficult situation. He just underestimated.
Get him early.
If the eye test says Melbourne United is well and truly in this game, it's a 6-point ball game. New Zealand doing a really good job of weathering this storm and just keeping in touch and battling through a period where the ball's not dropping for them, only 1 of 10 from the 3-point line.
Good defensive play from Delaney, slapping it off the cylinder. It's Besson. Well, Peatling didn't have position, but it's called an offensive foul right in front of the Breakers bench. I thought he was still moving.
Oh boy, 2 in a row there for Hugo Besson, right in front of Dan Shamir. They've got the coach's challenge. Could go to it if he wants to. Here's Finn Delaney knocking it off the rim. Heads up play by him, and then Besson. The contact with Mason Peatling. Dan Shamir had a really good look at it. Going to keep the coach's challenge up his sleeve.
Gee. I reckon he would have had a very strong case.
Wraparound play wouldn't work there for Melbourne, so a chance for Finn Delaney, the Breakers, with a full head of steam. Can't convert. Now we're running back the other way at Garda. Reaching in Jeremiah Martin, just slowed him down. But Hook Porty with good position down low. Muscled up against Wetzel. He did a good job. And the twin towers of Wetzel and Rob Lowe here in operation at the moment. A different look. McDowell White, it's held a skelter at the moment. 4.5 out from half-time. Melbourne by 6. And Wetzel bounces into Hook Porty. Ball dislodged. Breakers get it back with 7 on the shot clock.
Well, Hook Porty's up and about. Headbutt to the stanchion of the rim there, because Dean Vickerman told him in the first quarter when he inserted him, we need some rim protection from you. And the Breakers found Yanni Wetzel. There's the roll man. Hook Porty came off the shooter in the corner, protected the rim.
Down White off the mark. Porty the rebound. First rebound in the game, has 5 points. Coming off 9 points against Sydney. 42-point win on Thursday. There he's again. Down low. Couldn't finish it. How could Peatling? And the Breakers hanging tough at the moment.
Get a sense of just the anxiety also a little bit with Dean Vickerman. Almost every play he's commenting about the refs. But Porty barely caught the ball in the last possession. As soon as he got it, he was yelling N1. The guy hadn't even made a play yet. And then that last possession there, hands, it's just sense to him. I think that he realises as well that this is still very much a contest, despite Melbourne United in control for big chunks of it.
They're 2 of 9 from the field in this second quarter, Melbourne. Just hasn't been working for them at the offensive end. And Golding out of sorts, none of 3, coming back from his injury. Distributes, Barlow. Good hustle there from the Breakers. 3 in the key called on Luala Chul.
Yeah, you called it, Case. Good scramble from the Breakers. Great chase from Will McDowell-White on Chris Golding. They called Golding's number, ran a play for him. The Breakers blew it up and then were able to scramble, slide their feet, force the turnover.
Well, with such quick action and quick shots, Chris Golding hasn't had a whole lot of really good looks. A couple of early ones, he's 0 of 3 from the field and not seeing enough of the ball in his 12 minutes of action.
Good, it's good. All right, that's going to happen when we see that aggressive coverage and we get out of it quick, we move it quick, move it after that, great things are going to happen. All right, that was really good. I love the shots that we've been getting. All right, we just got to finish around the rim right now. All right, go ahead and finish off all those layups, everybody. Our defense is so solid right now, all right? The 3-ball closeout for Delaney. Let's go one more step right now to him. Make him have to bounce it right now. Go a little bit further, support it behind.
Hey, let's lose some double drags, and they'll fuck that up.
We got ghosted. No ghost. We got first one.
If I don't ghost, stop blocking me in the corner. There is no help whatsoever.
Hey, so get in this corner here.
We go.
We hear Matthew Dellavedova there chiming in what to run at the offensive end. He said run some double drags. What he means is early on-ball screens, but let's send 2 screeners towards the ball. So he says I'll come off the first guy and then I'll come off the second guy. And he said, well, they'll use some more colourful language than I will. He said they'll mess it up, the coverage, and get something good.
There's certainly some talent in that huddle with Melbourne United. I counted 5 Olympians there in that tight shot. And the Breakers restart here. 3.5 remaining in this quarter. Now White. Really been impressed with his game so far this season. 14 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists in his numbers. Jeremiah Martin with it. Just tends to get stuck in his hands a little bit. And again, the shot clock's at 2. Mitigating circumstances, yes, but he's fouled. He's off to the free throw line. And Luala Chul picks up his first personal. Only the second trip to the free throw line for the New Zealand Breakers. Melbourne 5 of 6. Got a good record against New Zealand Melbourne. They've won their last 5 at home against them and 10 of their last 11 overall. It's interesting that the last 4 games Melbourne have won by 30 points or plus. They've lost 3 of the next 4.
Yeah.
3 times they haven't been able to convert it into a back-to-back win.
I think that's just more coincidence than anything else. But I guess if you're looking or you're hypothesising on why that could possibly be the case, is that you go in there, you get a little bit of complacency because you've had a big win. You think everything's okay. You don't apply yourself quite to the same level. But that hasn't been the case here. Melbourne United have come out with great intensity. They certainly haven't just shown up. Brad Johnson.
In the house.
Is in the house, checking it out. Fox footy commentator, former Bulldog star.
Legend of the AFL. Melbourne by 4 inside the last 3 minutes of the first half. Dellavedova off the mark. Well done. Yeah, momentarily, Luala Chul just couldn't control it. And the Breakers will come up with possession.
Well, there was that double drag screen that Dellavedova was looking for. Breakers end up switching. Daly tries to punish the mismatch there with Sam Timmins from long range, but couldn't knock it in. He's 2 for 11 from 3-point territory on the season now, Daly.
Jeremiah Martin comes more with it. Shot clock to single digits. He gives it up. Timmins playing in the absence of Abercrombie. Down White closed down. And they were patient. They got it to Timmins. He just bubbled the pass, and now he's called for too long in the key.
That was a really good pass. Big fella just needed to get his hands up and catch that one and go up and dunk it. He just rushes it, snapped at the ball rather than letting the ball come to him and just gave up an easy 2. Good pass by Jeremiah Martin.
The Garter, well done low, slapping away at the ball, dislodged it. Now Jeremiah Martin, they get another stop And the offensive woes continue to melt for Melbourne. Scored just 6 points here in the second quarter from close range. Timmins gets it done. They're back to within 2.
And what about Jeremiah Martin trusting his teammate? Just bobbled a real gimme, but prepared to go back to him. And this time the big fella finishes it off.
Delvedova working against Timmins one way, back the other. Tough shot, couldn't complete it. McDowell White running. Martin ahead of him. They decide to slow it down. Scored the last 4, New Zealand, back to within 2 after being down 10 in the opening quarter. And Delaney draws contact off to the free throw line. Barlow picks up the foul. It's going to be his first.
They can't score. Melbourne United cannot score. New Zealand have been able to take away those transition baskets. And only 6 points.
2 of 11 from the field.
In this quarter, when you think of this lineup that Melbourne United have got, that is a spectacular performance by New Zealand. Still got a little bit to play out, minute and a half to go, but to hold any team in this competition to 6 is a hell of an effort.
Certainly dried up at the offensive end. Let's see who they can get going. Agata, Luala Chul, and now Golding, who's overdue, turns and splashes his first points.
And that's what you don't want to see if you're a New Zealand Breaker fan. Chris Golding, only 4 field goal attempts, now 1 of 4. And Timmins there was the help guy. He's got to know McDowell White was beaten. He's got to keep coming and make sure that Golding doesn't get that wide open 3-point look.
They get it, McDowell White, an open look after the good penetration from Jeremiah Martin, and they're back to within 1. As Golding decides to fire again, under pressure from Lowe. Great offensive get there by Luala Chul for the putback 2. It's not pretty, but they'll take anything they can get at the moment, Melbourne. Just 11 points in this quarter. 15 to the Breakers so far. As Martin dancing again and the shot clock rolling to single numbers. It's against Luala Chul. It took a long time to make a decision there and came up empty. Kept alive there by McDowell White, and the tip-in falls for Timmins, the X-Factor.
Given really good minutes in this second quarter, Sam Timmins. 1-point ball game.
6-0 boards for the Breakers.
Last play of the first half. Golding against McDowell White. Down low, in a confined space, but able to finish it. Agata steadies the ship with the last play. Entertaining first half concludes here. And Melbourne, who led by 7 at quarter time, enjoy a 3-point buffer at the half. It's Melbourne 34, New Zealand 31.
Yeah, it's a great comeback by New Zealand. They, for the most part, looked like they were not in the contest, that they were always playing catch-up, but they, to their absolute credit, the way they played defensively in that second quarter got them right back into this ball game.
Let's get some reaction courtside with Nerily Meadows.
Well, Matthew Dellavedova is with us. A real defensive scrap out there. How did you see that first half?
Yeah, I thought we started well defensively. We didn't really capitalise. We had a few too many turnovers, and then they just grinded their way back into the game like they've been doing the last couple of weeks.
They held you to just 13 points in that second quarter. How do you generate more quality shots?
I think it starts with getting stops. I think we had them too much on the foul line. If we get stops, we can get out, run, get a bit more pace in the game.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Melbourne United up by 3 points as they look to record back-to-back wins here at John Cain Arena. New Zealand hoping to avoid an 0-5 start to the season. They've never done that before. Can they get things back on track here in the second half? They were down by as much as 10, and they're right back in it. We'll have half-time highlights just after the break.
Half-time at John Cain Arena, and Melbourne United, who leapt out to a 10-point advantage during the opening quarter, have had that sliced down to a 3-point buffer by some good work from Yanni Wetzel, who has 8 points to lead the New Zealand Breakers. They're back to within 3, and they were able to stifle Melbourne's offence, Andrew Gaze.
They were. It's an impressive way they've gone about in that second quarter. Took away some of the easier detransition opportunities, and they did that by doing a great job on the boards. They've won that category 23-17, and most important, they also had 7 offensive boards. So that contest on the boards helped slow down those transition options, and they also did a better job of taking care of the basketball in that second quarter, albeit they've still got 10. Yanni Wetzel with the 8 points, McDowell White with the 7 and 6, and Agata continues on with his form with the 12 points, and Achul's got the 8 and the 5 boards. But the shooting percentage of both teams are down, in particular the New Zealand Breakers, and this is what, if you're a Breakers fan, should give you great hope. 2 of 12 from the 3-point line. They are better than that. And the rebounding count, as I mentioned, has been one of their strengths, and if they can just avoid some of those difficult scoring opportunities. Sometimes when you get there in the half court and you're trying to really control the tempo, that you give up some of those early opportunities. You just got to find that balance so they can get some easier looks.
I think full credit to New Zealand, the way they've fought their way back into it. It's been impressive. To tell us more in the analysis centre, let's get to Liam Santamaria.
Yeah, it has been impressive, Case, because they dug themselves a little bit of a hole in that first quarter. And the issue, as Drew was pointing out, was in defensive transition. And sometimes it's not about the energy, it's about the communication. Here you can see Chris Goulding attacking in transition. And have a look here at Finn Delaney. He's the first guy back. He's protecting the basket. But his issue here is he's got a shooter in the corner, Caleb Agata. What Finn Delaney needs is Yanni Wetzel to come down the floor and so that he can get out and get to the corner. But Yanni Wetzel, for some reason, is worried about the ball. As a result, you see the play unravel, and Finn Delaney's late on the closeout for Caleb Agata. And then another example here, you can see in defensive transition, the first job is to stop the ball. The last thing the New Zealand Breakers can have in this situation is for Caleb Agata to be able to come right down the middle of the floor all the way to the rim, and where nobody stops the ball, that's what happens. Now, they cleaned it up in that second quarter, running back, communicating, and as a result, they're back in the game.
Terrific work in the analysis centre there from Liam Santamaria.
Solid work.
Zigzag line and all.
Very nice. And the other thing too is on that last replay that, not encroaching on Liam's terrific work though,
Hang on.
You had Mason Peatling in the corner. And you saw the third guy, that he was perfectly positioned just to protect the rim first when you got Peatling. OK, you're going to leave a guy out there for a shot, but you got to pick your poison, and you'd much rather that than an easy play on the rim.
Well, Melbourne started on fire. Caleb Agata was leading them a merry dance, coming off his best game of the season so far. And they'd like to see a little bit more of this from him, because he started well, 10 of his 12 points coming in that opening quarter, but then they were able to put the clamps on him.
Well, that's right, and as we've mentioned, as we learn more about him, he is a shoot-first type guy, and when he's that open, his history shows he's going to make more than he misses, but he can distribute the ball, plays with great pace. The willingness for him to get out and push the tempo, as we saw in the defense, the coast-to-coast action there with the poor defence, that he's going to find ways to score. When you're guarding him, you've got to know that, yeah, you've got a multitude of things you've got to consider. But first and foremost, as he is looking to put the ball up. His numbers haven't been great, but we saw against Sydney and here tonight that he is capable of putting big points up on the board.
Second halves have been a problem for the New Zealand Breakers. They gave up a 19-point half-time lead against the Adelaide 36ers. They led Illawarra by 15 in the opening quarter. We wondered about their fatigue factor coming into this game. What can they produce in the second half?
Well, it's a huge question you ask, Case, because four of their main guys played over 40 minutes a couple of nights ago. But I think with the tempo that this game is being played at, and you saw the way offensively, particularly early on, that they were really trying to get it through some hands and take the wind out of the ball ever so slightly so they don't get into a track meet. So that's as much to do with strategically, but I also think helps with their fatigue. You must be going around in circles in the half court than going up and down all the time. So it's going to be a big question, but I think the emotion in trying to get that first win this is going to go down to the wire.
Yep, they've lost their first 4 games. New Zealand, they're close enough, if good enough, here at halftime. It's Melbourne by 3. We've got a whole lot more. Hungry Jacks NBL coming your way. Stay with us here on Sunday Hoops.
Welcome back to John Cain Arena, where it is Melbourne United leading the New Zealand Breakers by 3 points. Melbourne United's coach Dean Vickerman joins me. Dean, they're +8 on the boards. I know that you like to focus on that. How disappointing is that count?
Yeah, there's been some switches that's taken our bigs away from the basket a little bit, so we'll be better in that area. But, you know, we got a lot of stops, and our defense is really solid, and we just haven't rewarded ourselves with our run-outs and too many turnovers and missed plays going at pace.
A defensive scrap out there. How do you generate more scoring shots? Who do you look to?
Yeah, you know, done a good job with Chris right now, so we've got to continue to find better ways to free him up. But, yeah, I like, you know, our inside catches. Again, I just think we got to be able to finish those. You know, Caleb was playing really well. We probably haven't used him enough as well, so we'll see if we can get him more involved.
Thanks for your time.
Cheers.
Dean Vickerman there with Nerily Meadows a little earlier at half-time. Jack White's going to start the second half here, having picked up 3 fouls in the first half in his comeback game. Only taken the one shot yet to score. We get set to go with a 3-point margin in favour of Melbourne United. Hot favourites coming in, but still with some work to do. So Lawal Achul sits down at the start of the second half here for Melbourne United. And Melbourne use Rob Lowe with Wetzel again in tandem here to start this second half.
Yeah, the Breakers on with Rob Lowe. Hugo Besson's going to come off the bench. He's got those 3 fouls.
Attack came from Agata. Quick hands from Jeremiah Martin diffused it.
Well, Dean gave us the heads up that they want to get Agata going after his fine start, 4 or 5 from the field. He's got the 12 points and probably not thinking he's getting enough opportunities. And he starts the second half 0 for 2.
Good recovery there from Jeremiah Martin as well, just to track him down. Agata. There's McDowell White getting some treatment from Agata. Wrap-around pass. Wetzel, Martin. Shot clock at 9. Takes them on. Couldn't finish it. Hook Porty. And kept it alive momentarily. Now Martin back to McDowell White. Shot clock to 4. Well, he looked like he travelled. That was a call from Dean Vigerman. He just had a skip step on the retreat. But they've got it back again. And they continue to move the ball around. Here's Wetzel. Tough finish. Well done, Hook Porty.
Another good effort by the Breakers on the glass. And from all the teams we've seen so far in the season, and I know it's still very, very early days, there's no team that puts better ball pressure than Melbourne United. They are up and in and really got their hands active. Anyone with the ball.
Both teams just struggling at the offensive end. They did so through the second quarter. Here at the start of the third, 90 seconds played. And finally we get our first score.
Well, that's one guy who can break it open at the offensive end. Chris Golding, especially in this arena in front of those United home fans, didn't really light it up in that opening half. An early hit there, and if you're Melbourne United, call a play right now while there's a dead ball that's going to get Chris Golding running off some action. Here he comes off the ball screen from Dellavedova.
That's a breakdown. I think they were trying to ice that and send him to the baseline. But no ball, in contrast to what you're seeing at Melbourne United, no ball pressure. So Chris Golding had options. Comes off there, and Wetzel, when you're guarding the screener in an ice, you are playing off a little bit, and you can't give Chris Golding that type of space.
Good D from Hook Porty once more, was strong in the challenge. Denied the Breakers. Dellavedova at the other end, rattles it around, it jumped out. Martin lob pass, Wetzel from close range. Couldn't finish it. Opportunity missed for the Breakers, who are down 6. Melbourne has scored the last 5, bracketed across half-time, and now they've got 7 unanswered points.
Yeah, Agata's come out real aggressive. We should have expected that. You heard Dean Vigerman just as we came back from that half-time break, wanting to get him involved. He's now taken 4 shots already in 2.5 minutes of action. And Wetzel doing what he does really well and operate around near the basket. Oh my. Deary me. Dean Vigerman giving Agata all sorts of green light after that 4 or 5 first half outing. Stops and pops from the 3-point line, drops it in.
Martin's pass was telegraphed, almost stolen away by Agata, and now just attacking it with a little too much vigour. Picked up the foul. It's going to be his second personal.
We spoke about Melbourne United in offensive transition at half-time, and look at this beautiful rub screen here from Chris Golding. Just comes across, doesn't make a lot of contact, but enough to cause some confusion. McDowell White, Jeremiah Martin, they get a little mixed up. And then Agata, after the layup, feeling good, stopping and popping from long range.
Just makes a little bit of contact. I don't think there was any contact on that little rub action. And Agata just head down, gets to the rim.
8 points to 2 is the run from Melbourne here to start the third quarter, as they look to break the shackles. Luala-Chul against Wetzel, muscles his way in, good footwork, and from close range comes up with the finish.
Beautifully done. Joe Luala-Chul down low. Timeout, New Zealand. This thing's out into double digits, and Luala-Chul just felt the contact.
What is, you can see.
Go ahead,
sorry, Liam, but what you're seeing with the Chul, the scout on him is don't let him go right. Don't let him go right. He's not that poor where you can overplay the right hand that much for that simple rip to the baseline with the left.
Okay, throw it to Rob over here. Catch, throw it to Rob. That's you. Okay, throwing it to Rob. Finn is over here. Sam, get Hugo. Okay, over here. Okay, space it over here. Sam gets Hugo. Is that a good one? Catch, re-screen. Rob to the corner. You're going right. Rob here. Okay, for the shot. Talk to him. Talk to him. Okay. Okay, good screen and put the pressure over here. Watch strong side pass, but we need to be better with attacking the first cover, not waiting for the second one, not getting the under, getting it where you want and attacking it. Come on.
All about the offense in the New Zealand Breakers timeout. Just scored one bucket in this second half, the first 3.5 minutes. And Shamir recognising that what Drew is talking about, the ball pressure, the intensity from Melbourne defensively, wants his guys to be in more of an aggressive mindset. Run some early action and then be in attack mode, put some pressure on the defense.
And they're 1 of 8 from the field since half-time. It's been 10-2 run in favour of Melbourne since the break. Low, forced to retreat a long way to Besson. Good screen came from Timmins. Shot clock to 5. Not a lot on offer. Forced just to create. Almost in mid-air, but gets it done.
Well, it wasn't pretty, but Besson gets the result with a Tyler Harvey type runner.
4 minutes played in the third. Here's Agata in traffic, lost the handle, tried to push it to Luala Chul, got it back. This is what he's good at. He's got 1 on the shot clock. Big ass, couldn't get it done.
Hey, set him up low, receive the screen. Sammy, go get him low. Head.
You have to live with that when you can create the way he does.
Right here, you stay in the wing. Stay in the wing.
They need some offense, the Breakers. Again, happening initially. They find the open man. It's Finn Delaney with a wide open look, and Delaney adds the 3.
They worked their way there, didn't they? Martin, good awareness. The shooter in the corner. Delaney's knocked down 2 now.
7 points in the game for Delaney. Only Wetzel with 10 has more for the Breakers. Regardless, 17 was the game high. Tyler Chul, good pressure from Besson. It came back to him. Couldn't finish it. Loose ball, scramble. Jack White came up with it, and Golding for the finishing touches is off the mark.
It is, and Golding hit that 3 in the last 2 or 3 minutes. We haven't seen it go back to him. Gets starved of it a little bit, and Besson. The way they're trying to play Besson. My eyes are lighting up. I can see backdoor cut opportunities all over the place as Chris Golding just walks into a 3. And now's the time where go to him. Like Dean was talking about earlier on, getting Agata more looks. Now that Golding's hit a couple, get through some sets to give him some touches and some looks.
Low hands off. Besson works inside Jack White. Knocked down Dellavedova, who thought it should have been a foul. Had a good argument with that as well. Here's Agata. Got it by Jeremiah Martin. Oh, rolling to the hoop. Luala Chul alone throws down the dunk. He's got 12. Melbourne open up an 11-point lead.
Their poor defense, no weak side help. They were dealing with the on ball, and everyone away from the ball was locked into their own man and completely unaware of the difficulties and challenges of others. Got to be connected, always got to have vision on the ball and know your responsibilities on the weak side and how you got to tag those rollers, or at least be some sort of presence.
Well, Delaney went without it, has to go back and retrieve it. Likes his chances in a mismatch against Shea Illy. And Delaney with a left hand, that's a good finish. And Dean Vickerman with plenty on his mind at the moment.
How Dean Vickerman can get away with that without a technical foul, that was as aggressive and as demonstrative as you'd ever want to see from a coach. Very, very generous on behalf of the officials there not to ping him with a tech.
Golding from deep comes up with the goods.
That is deep.
That's what he does. Chris Golding sees one goes down and then bang, bang, breaking games open.
Well, there's one more bang in there because there's 3 bangs in this quarter so far.
Go, Silly, go! Sack it!
He's got 9 points in this quarter. Golding. Lyle Chul against Timmins. Forced to push it up unsuccessfully. But the margin is a game-high 12. Less than 3 minutes to play in the third quarter.
Here's these 3-point looks from Chris Golding. Just strolls into that one.
Come on, Hugo.
Hugo Besson just a step too far off, and now he's feeling good. Got the mismatch, gets Rob Lowe's hands down, rises up, drills it from NBA range.
That's where Rob Lowe is going to know, well, you know what? I'm going to get beat off the dribble. I'm going to get beat off the dribble, but he's not getting a 3 on me. Just got to be a lot closer, but don't give him those choices. And we know he's fearful, and didn't matter what Rob Lowe was doing, he was going to get beat off the dribble. So you might as well make sure you get beat off a dribble and he doesn't get a 3 and rely on your teammates.
Put your hands up and call help, big fella.
Correct. And everyone else should be calling help because they know that Rob Lowe's no chance.
Shot clock to 10. Here's the danger man once more. Golding works inside McDowell White. Couldn't finish it. Chul kept it alive, but only as far as Martin. Support there from Jeng. Doesn't need it. Jeremiah Martin, who's 1 of 7 from the field, adds to his tally.
Key couple of minutes here for the Breakers. Down 10. Got to get a couple of stops. Cut this margin a little. There's one of them right there.
Black 43.
And go into the fourth quarter with something to build from.
All right. Okay.
Rob Lowe will restart. Tick over 2 minutes out from three-quarter time. Golding with an explanation there for the assistant coaches. So McDowell White to score in this quarter.
Go.
Timmins hands over. Jeremiah Martin. Shot clock to 8. Spinning, nothing on offer. Shut down by Peatling. Gets it back now from Jeng. Tough shot for the left-hander. Didn't get it over the front of the rim. They come up empty once more. 5 of 16 from the field in this quarter, New Zealand. Peatling, 2 from close range, needed to do a little better. Jeremiah Martin, Euro steps in. Difficult shot under pressure. Foul going to be called here on Joe Luala-Chul. It's going to be his second personal.
Push.
4th team foul on Melbourne in this quarter.
Hey, we organise out of bounds here. Ready, talk, Mace.
McDowell White has to retreat a long way to restart to Lowe. Now with a shot clock at single digits. Kicks outside, quick release, off the mark.
You're out of bounds. You're out of bounds.
No basket, read up.
Breakers are going to get it back again.
How's the effort from Big Sam Timmins? A couple of possessions in a row there, just making a nuisance of himself on the offensive glass and helping his team get extra possessions.
Well, that's right. I think he's given some really good minutes.
You got 1.3.
There's a quick shot here, only a little over a second. Oh, gee, that's wide open.
Jeng off the mark. None of 4 from the field, none of 2 of deep. And it's Melbourne by 10 as we move inside the last 60 seconds of term number 3. Agata, that was ambitious, under pressure. Too much heat on the pass. And they turn it over for the 9th time. The Breakers have 11 in that category.
And we go. Let's go four-side. Four-side.
Just 11 points for the Breakers since half-time. It's been tough at the offensive end, but give some credit to Melbourne United's D. It's low against Peatling. Difficult pass. Martin. halfway line. Shot clock works to 5. Now he gets a running starter that was rejected, but he was fouled in the process. Free throws to come.
And with the way Melbourne United, they are testing the limits of the officials. And that's okay. You just, when you've got this little bit of a margin, you're putting that type of pressure on. And interesting to see whether the same latitude is given in other parts of the country, because it is super aggressive. And I'm not saying that was an incorrect call, by the way. I'm saying that was, but they are up and in and really going hard at putting that ball pressure.
And sometimes when you get on the front foot defensively, we saw that on opening night in Tasmania. A really physical game against Brisbane, and they were allowed to play that way. Melbourne getting away with some of that extra physicality right now in this one.
So Martin up to 7 points, been to the free throw line more than any other player in the game. As Newley's pass for Agata was slow in arriving, and he's good enough with the fancy footwork to get down low, but unsuccessful with his shot attempt. Now Martin once more. Margin being cut to 9. Jen gets it back from Besson, and now Jeremiah Martin. Offensive foul going to be called here on Sam Timmins.
And again, we say it time and time again, but Jeremiah Martin half responsible for that foul, just leaving a step too early. Timmins is out there to set that ball screen. And I like the fact that they're so high on that one, because it's harder for the bigs if you can get a run at it. When it's close and it's all compact, and there's an off-the-ball foul. This time by Barlow.
I don't know how you can expect I'm not going to call that. 2-0, 20, block.
Yeah, hard to, just moving forward, hard to not call that one when you are still moving forward. Whereas down the other end, it was Jeremiah Martin with Timmins just going laterally, not quite being set. So a different looks. But just getting back to that point, if they are playing so much pressure up high and the bigs are in a drop, if you can get a couple of bounces before you attack that big fella, it's harder for the bigs than when they're right near the basket, when they're surrounded by other players.
Last play of the third quarter wouldn't drop for the Breakers, and it's Melbourne who will turn for home with a 9-point advantage. Three-quarter time at John Cain Arena. It's Melbourne 52, New Zealand 43. Welcome back to Sunday Hoops. Melbourne United looking to back up after their big win against Sydney on Thursday. They've got themselves a 9-point advantage. It was 10 in the opening quarter, as many as 12 in the third, but New Zealand just hanging around at the moment and still have a chance to upset United.
It is. It's hard when you're only shooting 32%. You're not going to win too many games shooting it at that clip. And full credit to Melbourne United for that. Held the Breakers to 3 of 19 from the three-point line.
It's been tough for them from deep all night. Missed their first 6 shots in the opening quarter, New Zealand, from deep. They were 2 of 12 at halftime, and that had another 1 of 7 there in the third. Now White will restart. Jen gets it from Wetzel. Wants to go back in that direction. He was patient there. He got Porty in the air and comes up with the finish.
Good patience from both those breakers. Dieng, the decision-making was on point. Found Wetzel, and then the up fake. And finish at the rim.
Back at the other end. Porty takes on Delaney and gets a user-friendly roll. First score in the second half for Ariel Hook Porty. Down White uses Delaney. Besson. That's some good penetration there, and down low. That's a nice finish for Hugo Besson.
I like it. They're playing the 3-ball as they should. Almost just a touch under 50% before this game. And nice penetration to the rim.
Dellavedova lost the handle, had to retrieve it, needs help here. Reaching in, knocking the ball down. Down White. 6 on the shot clock here for Melbourne.
The effort well and truly there for the Breakers right now. Coming off that double overtime thriller the other night in Wollongong. You'd excuse them for having the heavy legs as Porty gets loose on the back cut.
What about Delhi begging him to go back door? You can see waving the left hand. Back door, big fella. They're overplaying, even despite all the signals. New Zealand weren't able to pick up on that and get some help.
Usman Jing once more, this time comes up with a finish. His first score in the game after missing his opening 5 shots.
Put the ball in his hands to begin this fourth quarter. Running him off that down screen and then turning the corner, getting into the paint, making some plays.
Shot clock to single digits. Dellavedova picks it up. Barlow hands over. Golding, turn and shoot off the mark. Well, Porty did well. Reached it over the back of Wetzel, grabbed the rebound and then drew it down in style.
Having a big impact. Hook Porty in the block, cutting back door and then off the offensive rebound. Attacking the rim.
Scored all 6 of Melbourne's points here in the first 2.5 minutes of the final quarter. Delaney just casually peels off another triple. He's been good from deep. 3 of 6. The team have only hit 1 other. So the margin cut to 6. Melbourne with some work to do to get to the finish line. Penetration came from Illy. Chance at a 3-point play.
It is, and just not enough work done of slowing or having the ball carrier go laterally. Here you see the work of Hook Porty aggressively attacking the rim and stuffs it in with the 2 hands. And Hugo Besson. Now he's sprinting out. It looked like it was Dellavedova for the 3-point line. You didn't need to do that. Just fill that lane. You can be a count late on Dellavedova. He's shooting the ball poorly from the 3-point line.
Another one of those ghost screens. Just confusing the Breakers. Will McDowell-White thought that the switch was on.
Wetzel, Besson from the foul line. A little deep. Hook Porty the rebound and Dellavedova running. Looking to push this lead back into double digits. Floater from Delhi, quick release, couldn't finish it. Porty just giving all sorts of problems to the Breakers here at the moment. They're forced to foul Delaney in the vicinity.
It's a lot of energy. Just the effort. crashing the O boards and getting rewarded the last couple of possessions. Only played the 10 minutes prior to this quarter. He's already up to 11 points and 6 boards in 12 minutes of action.
Been impressive here in the fourth. Hook Porty now. Dellavedova, they left him alone and he makes it look easy. First score since quarter time for Matthew Dellavedova. Scored the last 5 here, Melbourne, and the margin is into double digits.
51, blocking foul. Sweet.
Gilly's first personal foul, second team foul on Melbourne in this quarter.
And these are the kind of breakdowns defensively Daly was talking about in the timeout earlier. He wanted the double drags earlier, but he said they'll stuff it up. And here, a couple of possessions, the early slips on screens, and there, Daly left wide open to attack the rim.
Yanni Wetzel, Dieng just not aware of what's going on in that penetration.
Shot clock to 7. Besson, oh, that's a nice finish. Some sort of tricks.
That's tough. Just has those scoring instincts. Besson can make the adjustment. Finishes with the left.
Hung in the air. This is Golding working to an opening. Can't convert. Well done, Chang. Just held off. Hook Porty there. Grabbed the rebound. Now they need a score at the other end. And Delaney, nice feed inside. Timmins, monster. He's off to the free throw line.
That's the kind of attack from Finn Delaney that Melbourne have taken away for most of the game. Catch it at the elbow area, put it on the deck. He can make plays. And yeah, well-timed drop-off to Timmins. For the most part, they've turned Delaney into a perimeter shooter this afternoon. That's where he does his most amount of damage.
Well, he's only had only the 8 field goal attempts in 30 minutes of action for Finn Delaney, 4 of 8. And that time a nice reaction off the bounce, saw the help coming. And Timmins just in the right place at the right time. Unfortunately for him, misses the first of 2. That's a good looking stroke for the big fella. Nice follow through, snap of the wrist, hand in the cookie jar, all that other stuff you talk about when you're learning how to stroke it.
Look, 7 points on 3 of 3 shooting, 4 rebounds. This is a nice debut from Timmins. Playing in the absence of Tom Abercrombie. He's injured once more. They get Golding an open look. Nice pass from Dellavedova.
He had Dellavedova. He left Goulding. And then the extra pass to Goulding knocks down the 3. That's where you just got to stunt. Stunt, try and kind of worst case scenario. You'd rather Dellavedova shooting it than Chris Goulding.
5 of 11 from deep now, Golding. Melbourne come up with the ball again. Down White's 7 threes against Adelaide is the most by a player this season, but Golding is on track at the moment because he's feeling good. They can get the ball to him. Hook Porty turns around against Chang, who stood his ground well. Agata from close range, tipped in over the back. It comes from Jack White, and in his comeback game, get those T-shirts out. Jack is back.
Big smile on Jack White's face. They're the kind of plays he's been missing, and they've been missing from him. Hook Porty finds Agata, and as it just rolls off the rim, perfectly timed putback, and Jack White loves it.
68-55, Melbourne with the biggest lead of the game so far. More in just a moment.
Dangerous times now for the New Zealand Breakers. They have fought valiantly most of this game, and now there's just a tidal wave coming against them, and that's where the fatigue kicks in. And you're just trying to draw on that extra energy that it requires on the defensive end, and they haven't had the answers in this final quarter. Just a slow on the rotation, some bad mental breakdowns, and Melbourne United good enough to capitalise on it.
Well, it hasn't been pretty by any stretch of the imagination, but win is a win. And the Breakers, well, they desperately need one. This is going to be 0-5 unless they can find their way out of this. Good to see Chris Goulding back in good form as well. They've hit 8 threes in this game, and if you think you can hit a full-court shot at an NBL game, well, go to the NBL website win page and enter for your chance to shoot for $100,000 thanks to Latrobe Financial and the Sharp Shot. Get a crack at 100K. If you can't make that, you'll get a second shot from half court for $50,000. That'd be nice. Would that come in handy? Just go to win.nbl.com.au and get involved. How about the defense now from Jack White? With help, but they are shutting the Breakers down. Just 12 points in this quarter, 12 in the third in total.
Well, he hasn't lost those instant hops. Jack White's renowned for the bounce and the quick elevation, and that time there underneath the basket, there's two superstars, Dave Anderson and Mark Bredke. And two of the all-time, well, one of the all-time greats in the NBL. Dave Anderson, not quite the depth of experiences
Not
Mark
in the NBL,
Bredke, but globally,
he's up there with
legend.
you fellas.
Legend.
Here's Goulding knocking down his 6th triple.
Why? Chris Goulding loves these moments. Feeling good, knocking down shots in this second half, putting this game on ice.
Usman Jang picks up the dribble, needs help, poor pass. I think it was intended for Wetzel. It was so far away from him, I'm not sure. A good hustle, Jeremiah Martin getting a hand in the passing lane there, deflecting it and then tracking it down.
You're right, Liam. They have, either by coincidence or just the way the games unfold, they've put the ball in Dieng's hands a lot in this last quarter.
Jeremiah Martin, the left-hander, can't get it to go. 2 of 11 from the field. Just 7 points for Martin. And with 3.5 to play, United looking strong to take their tally to 2 wins and 2 losses after dropping their opening 2 of the season. Goulding, he came up with 13 points on his return game now. 6 of 12 threes.
Oh, he's the difference. He's well and truly the difference for this team. You saw him in their first couple of games. Look, this is going to be an elite defensive team all season long. No doubt about it. But with Goulding in the lineup, it just takes the pressure off the whole group offensively.
Here he is, catch and shoot, make it 7.
And that is a really ridiculous shot. He was off balance, falling away. Didn't look like he had his feet set, but such great hands. Good touch with the hands and the follow-through. He was able to compensate for sometimes being a little off balance.
16 points to 3 in the last 5 minutes from Melbourne. It's just ripped this game apart. Wetzel thought he was fouled. No whistle. Agata. This is how we started the game, with him storming up the floor. Leads Lamar Lachul and the whistle on the play.
A little late game wedgie.
Courtside Nerily Meadows.
I just want to back you up, Gazy. You said that he hasn't lost any of his hops, and we know that with the Achilles, it can really be detrimental to a basketballer's career. Well, Jack White, speaking to the United's high performance manager, he says that he's increased his jump height by 3 centimetres from last season. He now leads the team in all of their leg and strength power tests. His reactive strength score is 3.1. For context, 2.5 is considered elite, and he completes calf raiser sets on one leg with 70-kilogram weight. So he's been in full training for 3 weeks. Great to see him back there. He will increase his minutes as things go on, but wonderful to see him back just 8.5 months after rupturing that Achilles.
Yeah, we've seen some great comebacks between him and DJ Vasiljevic, who both had a similar injury. Great to see that the medical teams and the discipline that these individuals has as Dieng splashes the mid-range jumper. And full credit to the medical teams these days, the way in which they can take care of their players, get them back.
Full credit to Nerily Meadows as well. She was all over that, and on cue, Jack White comes up with another 2. So they have dominated this final quarter. Rob Lowe for the Breakers. A woeful night from deep. 4 of 21 at 19%.
Well, they really had hung tough, the Breakers. Here's Daly finding Jack White over the top. Again, the Breakers getting all mixed up defensively. They really had hung tough. As we said, coming off less than 48 hours off that double overtime game against the Hawks, and have just been blown out of the water here in this fourth quarter.
There's Lala Chul on the outside. Brewster into the game. Top of the key, well, it's turned into a three-point party here now as Zagata knocks down another long range.
Well, they've been elite from that area. Now 11 of 20 from the three-point line for Melbourne United. That is outstanding shooting. You're out there doing a drill by yourself. You're going 11-20. I'd like to get a few more, but that's not bad.
4 of 6 from deep in this final quarter, and Golding, well, he hit 1 3 in the first half. He had 3 in the third quarter, 3 here in the fourth. And now with 21 points to lead all scorers, this has been the Chris Golding we've grown to love and enjoy in the NBL. World class.
He does it. He does it with a bit of swagger as well, which you love to see. And here it is. Some of those are really well contested. Some of them not so much, but a couple of them, he's good enough that even when he gets in that zone, even when you're there and you're carrying a hand, you seem like you're doing all the right things. He's still good enough to knock him down. 7 of 13 is really good shooting from the three-point line. Interesting one is Matty Dellavedova. We've seen him tonight. His numbers aren't off the chart, so I think it undersells what he's done. He's only got the 4 points, 2 of 8, and the 7 assists. But he's one, Liam, that I give him credit a couple of years ago, or maybe even before that. Thought my perimeter shooting is not where it needs to be. Really try to deconstruct to change his technique at a relatively late stage in his career. In hindsight, I think that where it's landed right now, and it's still a work in progress, I'm sure. I think in hindsight, he was better off sticking with what he had previously, albeit a little funky in the way in which he shot it. But not quite where I think he would have hoped to have been with his three ball.
Well, Delaney from deep can't get it to go. Gets after his own rebound, though. Good defensive pressure again. How about that from Jack White? Are they enjoying his return? Great defensive pressure, and he's enjoying himself as well.
It's just so good to see. You saw the smile on Dejan Vasilievic's face yesterday in Kudos Bank Arena after he banked in the three ball, and you can see it right there on Jack White. These guys just love to play. Yeah. They love to compete, put their talents on display, and being back on the floor after a really horrific injury like that, and it just feels so good.
Well, you don't know what you've got till it's gone, and when it's taken away from you, it can help with just a bit of perspective on where things are at and the privilege you have to be able to be playing a sport that you love at this level with all the resources surrounding you. It is a beautiful, beautiful thing, but sometimes in the fierce competitive nature of it, you're feeling a bit sore and you start questioning yourself. Well, I have a spell for 8 months, and then you go, hang on a second, life's a lot different without these privileges, and I think that contributes to the smile on his face. Not to say he ever took it for granted, by the way. I'm just saying that when it's not there, it really hits home. But Chris Golding, this is the 8th time in his career he's made 7 three-pointers in a game. And whenever he's made 7 three-pointers, they've yet to lose.
No surprise.
Key is just get him seeing 7 three-pointers a game and they get the win.
Get that man some looks.
Did it once last season against Brisbane. Last season, Isaiah Liapa hit 8 threes and Tyler Harvey hit 8 threes in a game. They were the highest in that category. Agata, oh, nice finishing touches here from Callum Dalton.
There's a man that comes from one of the most famous basketball families in Australia. Karen Dalton, Olympian. Mark Dalton, Olympian. His dad and Brad Dalton, Olympian. Super basketball family. Brad Dalton, one of the all-time greatest screeners. I remember when I first came into the Australian team, no one set a screen. Loved playing with Brad Dalton because a guy that just seemed to, you know how when you make a three and you get that intrinsic reward, you feel really good about yourself? Brad Dalton was a player that would run and set a screen, and if he clobbered someone, geez, he'd feel good about himself. Love playing with those guys.
Buy him a few dinners, a couple of drinks along the way.
Back then, we were ranked amateurs, so just but plenty of pats on the back.
Hey, there's 3 for you, Brad.
That's it. Absolutely. And Tang, Mark Dalton. What a star he was in the NBL. 1984 Olympian as well. Both the Daltons played in 84.
For the break as well. Just 6 points in the last 7 minutes. This fatigue starting to set in for them. And gee, I tell you, they've got a tough stretch coming up as well. After this game, they're off to Tasmania for a Boxing Day clash. And then New Year's Eve in Cairns. There's some travel. This is going to be 5 losses on the bounce. First time in franchise history in their 19 seasons. And those away trips to come as well. And we know their injury problems and how tough it is for them. But this is real tough.
It is tough.
It's tough for everyone.
They're battling
in this league.
At least they start to open up their schedule a little bit, though, in terms of the teams they're playing. Getting away from the Melbournes, the Southeast Melbournes.
True. And I can't imagine what it's like. You can put yourself in that situation, but to really appreciate being away from home this long and on the road, constantly playing road games where you don't get 8,000-10,000 people screaming for you. Not an easy assignment.
Shot clock expiring in the background. We've got 7 left on the game clock here.
Well, this has been some real flexing of the defensive muscle from Melbourne United this weekend. 47 points Sydney had on them. They've kept New Zealand to just 60 today.
Cheng on the buzzer. But it's all over and has been for some time. Melbourne United have stormed away to victory here. The margin was just 6 after 3 minutes of the final quarter, but at the finish it's 23. It's Melbourne 83, New Zealand 60.
Impressive. Melbourne always seemed like in control, but New Zealand were hanging around, doing what they could to stay close, keep the game tight, and unfortunately the floodgates opened a little in that last quarter, courtesy of Chris Goulding, and the way their relentless defensive pressure forced New Zealand into some real tough scoring opportunities. A few too many turnovers, ended up with 14, and as you mentioned, both you guys, we've all mentioned some elite level defense being shown the last couple of games by Melbourne United, and they've got the cattle to do that. Jackie White, they're getting around him. Getting around him. Welcome back, Jack. And if you forget, just go back to the change room, pull on your t-shirt. Jack's back.
Oh, great signs for Jack White and also for Melbourne United as well after dropping games to Sydney and the Phoenix to start the season. Well, they have bounced back in style. They restricted Sydney to just 47 and won by 42. And they back it up, restricting New Zealand to 60, winning by 23.
And both games absolutely blanketed the opponents from the three-point line. 4 of 22 for New Zealand in this one.
Well, let's get courtside. Nerily Meadows is with our Foot Locker player of the game.
Chris Goulding, well done, just waving to the crowd, the family, I'm assuming up there. Just 3 points in the first half, 21 for you in the second, or to finish the game. What changed for you in the second half?
I just had to figure out how they were guarding me. It was pretty unique, so I probably wasn't patient enough in the first half. And, you know, we got out to a good little start, so I took a couple of bad ones. But just patience, figuring the game out as it came to me. But our defense got us going, and we just wanted to come out and get a win, make it a happy day for Jack White. He's been through so much, so pumped to get a win for him.
We're going to speak to him shortly. I want to ask you about him. How inspirational is he coming back just 8.5 months after doing his Achilles? He clearly means so much to this team.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he was such a big part of our team last year. He was really hard to cover in that championship run, so we've been excited. You know, the season got pushed a little bit, which means we get more games with Whitey. So he's such a big part of this club. Such a diligent, hard worker, the way he approached his rehab. And it showed the way he came out tonight. He's sprinting, he's dunking, he's getting rebounds, he's blocking shots. That's the Whitey we love.
I'm a little bit disappointed we didn't have Goulding coming back last week's shirts, but you get away with that one. Garda, he's fitting in beautifully into this team, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's a really talented scorer. And, you know, sometimes you just need to see the ball go through the hoop to get yourself going. But he's stayed focused. He's stayed in a good headspace.
It's tough being away from home when you're not playing as well as you would like. But he's locked into the defensive end, and now he's seeing the rewards on the other end as well.
Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Des.
Great to have Chris Goulding back. He averaged 16 points a game last season, hit 123 threes at 39%. One of the best in the competition.
Well, he's just a world-class shot maker. As Nez said, just 3 points in the first half, but got loose after halftime. 18 second half points. And once he sees it go in once or twice, there's no looking back. You cannot leave him, cannot give him a moment of open airspace. And time again throughout the second half, he came up with big buckets for United.
Well, the feel-good story of the season so far is the return of Jack White. He's standing by with Nerily.
Jack White, well done.
Oh, dear.
That is how excited they are, Jack. I want to go right back to the beginning of tonight. You were nervous, you were taking deep breaths, you were a little bit emotional when you ran onto the court, and they even had T-shirts that Jack is back. Can you talk us through how you felt leading into this one?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a bit of a wild week. I've really just been trying not to think about it all that much, just because I knew that, you know, I'd have trouble sleeping, and man, it's just been such a process to get back to this point, and I'm just so happy to be out there with the fellas. I love this team. What a great win tonight against a super good New Zealand Breakers team, but it's just fun to be playing again. Wow.
You talk about the process. How hard was it, and were there some dark times going through that rehab?
Yeah, 100%. Like, there was physical challenges for sure, but mentally that was probably the toughest thing. Like, especially after the surgery, you know, you can't do a lot. Just really didn't feel like myself, and you're really just sitting there for 8 weeks with a cast on, just watching your leg kind of deteriorate. So that was tough, but I mean, great team, like coaches, medical staff, support staff all at the club, friends and family, all did a really good job of keeping me in a good space, and just focusing on things that I could control and really just trying to make the most out of the whole rehab process.
And you got better and better as tonight went on. Was it nice to get involved and hit the scoreboard late?
Yeah, no, it was just so much fun. Like, just to be able to compete again is something I've missed, and especially here in John Cain with like this sort of atmosphere with the crowd and everything like that is something we kind of missed last year with COVID, and yeah, it's just great to be able to play here and obviously get a win.
It's awesome to see you back and see that smile back on your face. Well done tonight.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you.
He was great tonight, wasn't he? Or this afternoon, I should say. And when you talk about those demons, it's always tougher when you're sitting on the sidelines and you see your team win a championship too, and you know you could have been a part of it. 2 of 3, the 8 boards, that's what he's renowned for, but played his way into it, didn't force the issue, let things come to him. And the most important thing is that bounce. That's a trademark, and you can see the love that he gets from all his teammates. They getting around him and really showing their appreciation.
And so they should get around Caleb Agata. Back-to-back 20-point games from him. He's standing by with Nerily.
Caleb, well done on another wonderful performance. Coming into a championship winning side, being able to perform, how tough has it been?
It hasn't been too tough. I mean, it's just learning how to get into the swing of things, getting comfortable. But like I say always, the coaching staff, the organization, and my teammates have made it very easy for me.
The difference between that first quarter, 10 points, and then you were shut down a little bit in the second quarter, but hit the scoreboard again late. What was the difference? As the crowd is getting around Jack White, but what was the difference for you between that second quarter and the second half?
Just to stay aggressive, you know. I know the team was kind of starting to fizzle a little bit, so I knew that I have to find my way, not just in that quarter, but the rest of the game. So I didn't focus too much on not getting as many touches and not getting into rhythm. I knew that I was going to have to finish the game at the end of the second and the third and the fourth quarter.
And just finally, when Chris Goulding is shooting like that, is he a fun teammate to have in the side?
Man, it's like Steph Curry, bro. I never played with somebody like that before. So like, I'm just shocked. Like, it's amazing.
That's quite a right. Thanks for your time. Well done on the win.
No worries. Thank you.
Well, it's true. It's one of the guys that you think, how did he not get an experience in the NBA? Because he, when you talk about Chris Goulding, but Agata, he was proactive on the offensive end.
Well, he'll be proactive on the offensive end every game this season. Don't worry about that. They want him to be aggressive, and that's back-to-back 20-point nights now for Agata. Had a tough first week of the season and a little bit in pre-season, but he's found his groove now, and look at that, 4 of 5 from long range. He has his touch well and truly feeling good right now.
Impressive work by Melbourne. And next up, well, it's a battle between two foundation teams. The Brisbane Bullets and the Illawarra Hawks are going head-to-head as our Super Sunday of hoops continues here. Stick around, the Hungry Jacks NBL. It's a big Sunday, and we're looking forward now to Brisbane against the Hawks, not too far away.
I think like I'm a shark, the way I move so sharp.